Hey traders, welcome back to another daily profit and loss recap video. Today is Wednesday, June 8th. I just finished up trading for the morning and I locked in $606 in trading profits. In this video, I'm going to break down my trades, talk about my thought process behind the trades, and hopefully you can take something from my trades and apply them to your own. So with all of that being said, I had two trades today. Both of them were winning trades, and the first of them was with the stock ALYA. ALYA was gapping up in pre-market. They had their earnings report put out in extended hours. We can see this had a big spike up early in pre-market and then kind of faded down into the open. I like to look at these setups a lot of times for a reversal at the market open to catch that bounce as they, bounce back up into VWAP, and potentially sometimes they end up pushing back up to their pre-market highs. So ALYA was on watch for a bounce this morning. I posted in the Market Master group that I was looking for a higher low to form or for it to start breaking out above that opening range breakout level, which in this case, the high of the first 5-minute candle is $2.09. So that's going to be our breakout level. I was also looking for a higher low. As we can see, if we take a quick look at the Market Master group, all of this was posted about in real time. At 9:45 a.m., patiently waiting for a higher low or opening range breakout for a scalp here. A few nice spikes in the volume under $2 so far. And that was posted at a price of $1.99. Then at 10:02 a.m., I posted that ALYA was starting to form a higher low around 2. Once volume picks up, it should start to pick up some momentum. So the higher low that I saw forming was right here just after 10 a.m., right at about $2 per share. If we take a look at the 1-minute chart, this might be a bit clearer on this time frame. We can see at the market open, pulls back, forms a couple lower lows, then we get this spike back up above 2, and we start to see some higher lows forming right at that time. So that is when I took a starter position in this trade. I bought a few thousand shares initially, and I was risking off of that morning low, which in this case was $1.93. So realistically, I was only risking, about 10 cents per share, which is of course a relatively low risk, especially with such a volatile stock. And then I ended up adding into that trade once it started to break out above that opening range. I didn't sell into this initial spike up here into the 220s because I was hoping to see it push a little bit closer to VWAP to lock in profits initially, but it started to reject that 220 area, pulled back under, and once it started to bounce back up into the 220s again, I locked in profits in this area, just anticipating that there might be a double top, which it ended up being. And then I sold the rest of my shares above 210 once it started to once again reject that 220 area. So nothing crazy on that trade. I ended up making $551 in profits. That was my bigger winner for the day. But the other trade that I actually placed today was with GameStop, GME. GameStop was gapping down big in pre-market from their earnings report in extended hours trading. And we could see at the market open, it starts to rebound really nicely from that big gap down. It opens just above $20 per share. About 10 minutes later, it's all the way up to $22 per share. And it ends up getting halted. And after that halt is over, we end up with a gap on the chart. So one thing about gaps is that they often get filled, not 100% of the time, but if there is a gap on a chart, a lot of times it will get filled. So I posted once I saw this gap was created, I saw that it was starting to form a little bit of a base at about $20.80. We see that there is a bounce from there initially as it's still moving to the upside, and then it comes back down and it starts to form a little bit of that base right at about $20.80. So once I saw that there was a gap above and it was forming a little bit of a base, I knew there was a good chance it could hold that level and curl back up and start to fill that gap up to a price of $21.41. So I posted that in the group and I took a starter position just under $21 per share. I only had 500 shares on this trade. And we could see this is right around the time that I got into this trade, just as it's curling off of that $20.80 level. Spikes back up into the 21.20 area, rejects it, pulls back to VWAP, consolidates for a few minutes, once again spikes up into that area, rejects it, comes straight back down, and ends up fading under that 2080 support level. So once I saw this second rejection, I sold my shares and I took a very small profit on this trade of just $55. I'm glad that I recognized at the time that it was going to turn into a losing trade and I most likely was going to get stopped out of the trade. So I'm glad to end up with any profits at all on this trade, but what I am a little bit disappointed about that I tend to do pretty often as you can probably notice by watching these videos, is that I get out of these trades and then I kind of just take them off of my radar. And if we look at GameStop now, it was able to reclaim that $20.80 level, was able to push back through VWAP, and it ended up filling that gap zone really nicely and is still climbing up and getting closer to the high of day. So again, one of the things that I really need to work on is just understanding that a lot of times your first trade in a stock is not the right trade, and the right trade ends up happening a little bit later. So it's important to keep them on your radar, look for them to start moving in your direction again, and then look to re-enter into those trades. Okay, so those were my 2 trades for the day. Both of them were relatively small, but at the end of the day, these relatively small gains can add up very quickly. And I ended up with $606 in profits, which is pretty solid. If you think about it, even if you're trading with a small account and you're trading with a small amount of shares, if you're able to average just $100 a day in profits, since there's 252 trading days in a year, after a year that $100 per day would end up being over $25,000 in profits. You might not necessarily be able to live off of that, but if you're only trading part-time, that would be a really great way to supplement your full-time income just by trading with a small account and by trading with a relatively low risk. So just something to keep in mind. Real fast, I also just want to cover CVNA, Carvana. This was another meme stock that was gapping up in pre-market today. And I say this all the time in these videos, but hindsight is obviously 2020, so can't be too upset with missing out on this trade because I'm seeing it after the fact, but I do wish that I would have been paying a little bit more attention to Carvana gapping up as opposed to GameStop gapping down, because we see that there is this initial morning pullback, and following that we get another pullback with a higher low, also with a very long lower wick on this candlestick. If you watch the previous day's profit and loss recap video, I talked about how these lower wicks can represent a large amount of demand in that area. So seeing that higher low with a large amount of demand in the $18 area, and then following that, a push back through VWAP and a push back through this $19 opening range level. All of those were really great signs that this was starting to pick up some momentum. Buyers were taking control. And I definitely wish I would have been a little bit more focused on this trade. I would have bought into this $19 breakout, and there was definitely some room for a nice profit on this trade. But anyway, those were my main focuses for the day. I ended up with $606 in profits. I'm probably going to wrap up trading for the rest of the day, but I'm keeping an eye on the scanners in case anything else interesting starts to pop up. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you found some value in it. If you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to hear about the stocks that I'm trading in real time, you want to watch our live scanner stream, work with our team of traders, there's going to be a link down below in the description to come join us in the Market Master group. Anyway, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.